We'll open this meeting of May 18th, 2015. Let the record show all the selectmen are present. The purpose of this meeting is to go over the evaluation forms. However, Joe has one item that he needs to bring up that
Yes, I do.
wasn't brought up on Thursday. Has to be time sensitive.
Well, it's time sensitive in that there's a proposal. I've sent you copies of the proposal via email for the gasoline and diesel for the underground storage tank. They have a consensus now, I know they do, to go with Burke, which was not the lowest instantaneous bid, but what the lowest bid was 10 cents, 20 cents over the Boston wholesale price. So if the wholesale price goes up to $3.20, we're going to pay $3.40. The other way, and there's a history of that. Gas is even rising in the last week. So my recommendation, based on what I know, is that, and I believe it's $2.43. I don't have the information right in front of me. And $2.45 or $2.55. In any case, we need a vote or a consensus to accept the bid in order for me to vote, such as it is.
This is from Cheryl Soma.
That's the one.
Why don't you let us know, Kathleen?
Burke figures are refreshed as they were good for 24 hours. Results are unleaded 2.2510 and diesel is 2.359.
There you go.
Begins on July 1st till we fulfill our quotas per contract. Diesel by June 30th.
We had till June 30th to do it?
No.
No, that's when the
they
new
reach the
contract
quota.
starts.
July 1st is the
That's when the contract starts.
Dennis K. Burke.
Come on, which one of these has the...
So, July 1st, terms 30 days, tax and delivery.
All that stuff is fairly cut and dried.
Is there any clause to get out of this?
There's something in there, and I can't quote it to you,
Should not be liable
that
for
there's a penalty.
So is it fixed at those prices, or is there an escalation clause?
Well, the length of a year, we do it once a year.
No, I know, but those two numbers are for the year? No escalation if the price?
No, those are locked in.
Okay.
Now, the low bid, Boston rack price, okay? From the Evans Group, 203 instead of 220. But
So
they said
that's
10
big,
cents.
right.
Yeah.
Based
over
on the current rack price.
That's
which-
right. But if this rack price goes up, for whatever reason,
Duplication.
we're going to take a whip.
Right.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we go with the bid for Dennis K. Burke at $220 for unleaded and $239 for diesel.
225 for unleaded.
Not according to what I'm looking at right here.
Price per gallon, 2.2510.
What's the date of yours?
I got the first one, 5/8.
This is the one that the school district signed.
5/8.
5/12/2015.
All right, that's a different thing now. We
This
didn't
is a
jump on it, so the
contract that
price
Cheryl
changed.
Soma signed. There's her name on it. She signed it on 5/13/15.
I guess your vote doesn't count, Joe.
I wanted to bring it up last Thursday,
Sure.
and one thing got to be another.
2.2510 for unleaded.
225.10?
10.
So they all voted for it?
Point one.
2.35.
So it's a done deal?
Ultra low sulfur diesel.
It was done by
School-
consensus.
School board has signed both of these agreements.
Because we only meet once a quarter, we agreed at our very first meeting to take time-sensitive votes. by consensus. And there's a written record, emails of who voted what.
There's no unfunded clause in here if it's not.
Yeah, it
funded.
says the school board approved accepting the Dennisburg contract for UST fuel supply yesterday.
There you
The
go.
Burke figures were refreshed as they were good for 24 hours. Results are, boom. So it's a done deal. All right, let's move
And
on.
I'm guessing it might be $235
We have
next
to
week.
buy 28,000
They're locked in at $235 diesel and
Yeah, yeah.
$225
But If we
unleaded.
wait a week, it could go up even higher.
52 5-gallons of diesel.
All right. Want to, in consensus was no to the overtime on the highway? What was consensus?
part
Arthur
of
would like
that
to
is-
work overtime Thursday evening to paint the crosswalks and do because we're down one person. And he'd like to spend the daytime with the two people with the cemeteries and getting ready for Memorial Day weekend.
Is this just crosswalks or crosswalks and parking?
No, just crosswalks
Just crosswalks.
only.
He understands that, I talked with him, and he
How
understands.
many crosswalks do we have?
It would be 5, 1, it would be,
Part of a day.
From the
I would
company,
imagine.
that'd probably be,
Crosswalks?
So when it comes, is one, isn't a couple down at Park?
right, there's 2 at Main Street,
So you essentially have what,
1 at
4 at
Tilton.
Park?
So there's 5 here, and then 1
Are the
at,
School Street ones Tilton School?
I don't think we paint Tilton School.
yeah, they're Tilton School.
Okay.
So there's 5, 6,
And how many employees does it take to paint a crosswalk?
2.
2.
One to operate the machine, and one to direct traffic as
Because
necessary.
years ago, when I watched, it was one to operate the machine and the rest were standing
You'll
around
see
watching.
at least 4 of them out there.
Well, and that's, do we need 4?
No.
No, there won't be.
They don't
because we're
have
down a
4.
person. Right, we're down a person, so it's,
have
it'll be the 2 guys in Arthur.
I think they could do it during the day like they normally do, and then just put off doing one of the remote cemeteries.
I don't want to see cemeteries being put off, that's the only thing.
Nor do I.
It's not like they have real grass growing in most of them.
Not for Memorial.
Not for Memorial Day, and we have sidewalks. It's not like it's a free-for-all. We do have sidewalks. And they need to be repainted, I understand that. But Memorial Day weekend, I'm in favor of mowing the cemeteries. If they can fit in the sidewalks, great.
Well, I'm in favor of letting them work the overtime. We're not going to use an exorbitant amount of money, and we have a person down right now, so that we can shift that money around. It's not like we're going into a budget that we didn't budget for. We're not going to overexpend overtime.
it's a person down on
I think
paid
we should
wages.
save. But I don't think they need to do overtime.
What's their schedule look like? What's the deadline that we're looking for to get the sidewalk or the
Memorial Day.
crosswalks done by?
There is no,
By probably Old Home Day, the parade, make the
oh,
town nice.
certainly.
No, they want to
parking
do
lot.
a Memorial Day.
They want to do everything,
You got a
but,
parade on Memorial Day.
For the Memorial Day parade.
right, the Memorial Day Parade,
It's still going to be okay without sidewalks.
this weekend. Yeah,
How many hours overtime we're looking at? What's the cost?
No.
I would imagine it would be 2 or 3, that would be my guess. He did not tell me that. Did he tell you
That'll be
that?
at least 4.
It's got to be at least 4. I'll bet you it's at least
To do
4.
all those sidewalks, at least 4. Because here's the thing, they want to do it at the end of the day. Well, their end of the day is 3. The heaviest traffic we have
is right in that zone.
between 3 and 5 o'clock.
Are they doing it then, or are they coming back at 7 like
Well, that's
they
what I
do?
mean, are they going to come back at 7 and then it's going to be dark?
Not at 7,
I don't know what their plan is.
but it's not enough
It
light.
sure doesn't make any sense to do it between 3 and 5.
All right, looks like no decision.
I vote no overtime. But you know what? Arthur is our Public Works Director.
we've asked them to make decisions, so.
Yeah, just the whole,
The problem is that we've got so much overtime because of the snow this year, so
according to Dennis, we're well within the parameters of the budget that he
Really?
laid out.
okay.
That was as of,
So let's not spend
months.
it. We'll probably get snow in October this fall. Anyway,
What do you think, board?
no,
Joe says no.
Make it pretty, yes.
Yes?
Nope.
I'm a yes.
You're too slow, John.
Buddy.
Yeah, you're too slow.
no, just.
So
don't
this
keep
has to be
budget.
done by this weekend? This is when
For
we always...
Memorial Day, they would like
they
all
would
of
like it to
be done by Memorial Day, yes. Like
the
the
past, they
cemeteries
had
and the roads, yes. In the past, that's their
I
goal,
didn't
is
know they
always to
had
get
a
it done by
Memorial Day
Memorial Day.
parade. I
The-
just,
the,
I thought the
They do.
the American Legion guys just marched over.
You got the...
They still stand in
It's
the
a
round.
small parade, but
Still stand down Main Street.
It's a
Winnisquam
parade.
band.
Parade with
It is a
floats
parade.
and bands and,
Oh,
You
that's
got a band, you have a band,
Catherine,
they do?
yes.
Cool. I'm gonna have to come watch.
go
Yes,
glass half full on
yeah.
this one, Gary.
No,
Don't
Yeah.
sleep
Really
in,
not.
you'll miss it.
See, I can't understand why we can't get them done during the week. Are they that, this is going to take all week?
Are we doing
we
street
got
sweeping
one
yet?
person down now, it's
They
just Fred and
street sweep
Johnny.
I
tomorrow.
think they should have planned better from
It's-
May 1st.
Just, well, May 1st, they didn't know there were going to be one person down, right?
That's right.
They did.
No, the week after that, they didn't knew.
Okay, so they wasted.
Do we have any of the guys that do community service that can help clean cemeteries that are available?
Nope.
We'll let them stripe instead.
So if we didn't do it this week, would there be time enough to do it next week?
It's Memorial Days this
It's after the
weekend.
parade.
We would
I know,
make
but
it a priority. It's a matter of priorities. Kinda.
Yeah.
The time they've got left, and it's a time-sensitive weekend, sorta, kinda.
You know, I can't see spending, I'm going to say no, because,
Okay.
Okay,
I mean, the
Yeah.
addition to the center is
We're good.
All right, we're good.
We're
Let's
done.
move on.
Next.
a tough one.
God bless
right.
democracy.
Yep.
Okay, all right, we're back on the evaluations. So Catherine, you've got you've got your old one and your new one. I don't have the old one here with me. So does everyone have the new version that we have?
I got the one that was in the
7/24/14.
folder.
Okay, that's the
Are we-
new
All
one.
right.
This is the new?
That's the new. These are your corrections.
This is the one we always used to use, the 1 through 10. This
Yeah,
is the one we always used to use.
1 through 10 doesn't work.
This is one that we created from the PDs. And I don't think I have what you're calling new.
This is it.
I don't know what...
This is the new one.
This is
This
the
was
new one.
approved 7/24/2014.
The latest edition.
In,
Okay.
I don't think
Version 2.0.
it's
It's up in the upper left-hand corner. It says 7/24.
7/24/14.
Yep.
May I remind you that we are on camera?
Hello, camera! So I like the cover page of the old one.
Okay,
Of the old one.
Well, of the 7/24 of this one.
yep. Got it.
Is that different than this one? Because I have the 7/24 here, and I didn't see it on that one.
No, I gave
Right.
mine away.
724.
Okay.
You have the oldest version, right?
This one.
No, the other
Yeah,
one.
the-
Catherine's holding it in her hand.
We'll say there.
Her
That
right
was the
hand.
first one that we
Yeah,
went away with a long time ago.
yeah.
So with this one, we'd start, get rid of the rating for me, and start like that. Get rid of the rating on all of these. The 1 through 10 is like, that's like, I'd be like, what's a 7? What is that? A little
Last
better
year,
than average?
right, last year, we had a rating of, and it was very difficult to rate them with. It was very good, was consistently meets expectations, above average, performs more than expected. That was 7 to 8. 5 to 6 was good, meets expectations, average work, no more, no less than expected. a rating of 3 or 4 was fair, really meets expectations. Here, on this kind of rating, you have superior, exemplary, competent, needs improvement, unsatisfactory.
Is this a 54321 or a 43210?
0.
So the rating here is good, but, so Catherine, let's just start with the second page.
Between competent and
The
exemplary.
written
whatever.
communication. Do we want a title, written communication, or do you want it, do you want this in here as work habits, like we had in the old one? Works as a team member, dependable, versatile, follows
you've got it.
instructions.
I was like, where did it go? Yeah,
you're
I mean,
the only
I
one who got
personally, the work habits, all of those,
Has one.
I didn't mind, but I did kind of look at the others, the police and the
Well, I know
public
it's-
works, and just kind of added and changed some of the headings in it.
Well, so under,
Yeah, see, this one I yellowed up.
I'm just trying to think, we have categories of written communication, oral communication, interpersonal, planning and organization, initiative,
That comes directly
flexibility.
from the police one.
All right, so here's work habits,
I would-
attitude, ability, and that's it. So, communication. So if we take work habits and plug them into,
See, I just kept this format,
yep,
got rid of the 1 through 10 at the top,
yep,
and then took away and added, because it's like if you look at the
I've already been hitting it.
one that we used last year,
Just for me. You don't have to go.
it still,
Keeping it average.
it still has kind of the language of the PD. So I use this language, which is more similar to Public Works, and then,
We could use the police language, I mean, it's,
well, I just thought it would be more similar to what Public Works does, except get rid of the 1 through 10.
I'd like to kind of use the same language for all of them that apply.
Well, the police is so different,
There are a number of differences, truly.
so I thought it was easier just to kind of make the Public Works and ours, as far as these general categories, we don't have safety in ours, we never did.
so did you build up a new one?
I made a list of what I'd like to see changed.
I don't think I have a highway department one.
Oh, here, I probably,
Is there no component of safety at Town Hall?
not really. I mean, we do, but it's,
But we're not going to
somebody comes in
evaluate
with a
it?
gun, duck and cover.
No, I'm thinking about, just for instance, where is the emergency cutoff
Can't fall down the elevator
to
shaft.
the boiler?
There's a lot of safety things.
The police department.
Don't open all the top drawers in the file cabinet.
Is there a loose
Yeah,
rug? Or a
loose
loose
rugs.
aisle or something like that that needs to be fixed? Do they have an eye towards safety, wet floor?
Okay,
Not-
so
not lift
what
Ramp
Catherine
with
is saying,
the Sign on.
The ramp with the sign, it's sanding the walkway, that's all safety.
okay, so what Catherine is saying, as far as like Town Hall, let's concentrate on Town Hall. If we make copies of the really old one, so that you all can get a sense of what this is,
Well, I've used it before, but
but
I don't
Peter
have
hasn't.
haven't
it right in
seen it.
front of me.
So Peter hasn't, and John, you have, right? You've used this, no. So what Catherine is saying, that we like the scoring part of this evaluation, but the language could be from this, could be incorporated in this. Some of the language in this one, the newest one, July 24th, I'd like to keep. But I see where this is sort of like universal for highway and town hall and police.
Kinda, yeah.
Let's just make a copy for everyone on this one. And we can work from that, and then you can name these off. And we'll put them on this new one here, where we have to go as far as,
I mean, I could go, if somebody prefers the PD one, I mean, I don't really care about the format, it's the questions we ask. I'd like to see
Right,
them kind
well,
of similar, so
we can
whether we
have
use
it-
this format or that, I don't care.
I'd rather the questions,
Yeah.
like you have, right, the categories the same. So we're under work habits. See, and the new one, we don't have work habits.
Well, all of these
It's
things
job,
together add
skill-
up to work habits, don't they?
Right, and,
Attendance and dress and communication and organization and what have you.
Heck, I forgot to buy garbage bags.
Catherine, what did you not like about this, the questions in this one?
Well, the one
What
I
you're
had
scoring-
that I read, I thought some of it didn't really pertain to town hall.
If we struck those out and added in this language, would it work?
Well, if you look at the back especially, it's kind of cumbersome, I think.
The goals and objectives, you mean? We don't really need that as,
That's why I left it, when I started looking at it, it was just easier to go with the one
we've never really used the goals and objectives.
no.
You don't
We never
have,
really
you
made
never
it
set any goals or objectives?
When, in town hall, we've met, well, it's been recent, it's only been recent that we've met with each individual and done their evaluations with them. But like highway, we don't meet with them individually, they meet with we meet with the department head, and we go over the evaluations that are, that they've given us individually with the department head, not with the individual. The same way with the PD. We go over each and every individual evaluation with the department head. But town hall, we would go over Joyce's, we go over Tim's, we would go over Gail's individually with them
I think I might
here.
have two first ones.
We wouldn't go over Kim's, Cindy would go over
There's
Kim's.
got to be one, a middle one.
So
Like
it would be up to them what,
land use and...
Okay, we got it.
what we've
We're good.
done on this one that she just passed out. There would be a section for under strengths and weaknesses, and then under remarks on one of them, yeah, they would say that would be a goal-oriented, attend more schools, this and that, and that's what the department head would write in. Let's say,
They'd write that in the goals?
they would write that in on this old form here, this one that she just passed out. As far as, let's say, somebody was under their ability, and they were rating them as their ability, under the remarks section, if it was a lower rating, or even an average rating, there would be some type of school or some type of protocol set forward to get them training in that area, whether it be in-house training or whether it be going to training. So that's where the goals would be met individually in the area in which they need. On this new one of 7/24/2014, it's very specific about the employees' goals and objectives. And that's, I don't care which way we go, it doesn't matter to me, but you're writing, if you look at it, Part 2 is the rating. So what you've written in this part here, they're asking you just to pull it over onto Part 2. So you're actually writing it again on Part 2. Then on Part 3, that's when you're coming in, you're setting new objectives for the next evaluation. You see what we're saying? You see what I'm saying so far? So, thank you. So last year, that's kind of what we did, is when we went down on individual ones, we commented in these comments here that would be goal-oriented. And then on this back page, when it finally came to the goals and objectives in Part 3, that's the part that the chief actually did that part, but we didn't with the town employee.
So last year, there weren't any goals set for any employees?
In the comment part of the individual, like planning and organizing and interpersonal skills, and we put our goals and objectives in that.
So
There's nothing
If somebody
that's
had a goal-
listed as goals,
let's find an
but it's down there.
example of a goal.
One-
Reorganize files from A to Z and send 1 to 100.
Right.
Or something.
Reorganize.
Reorganize
One of
files.
them was reorganize the personnel folders, because there was a lot of there that could have been weeded out, and it hadn't been done for years. That was one of the goals.
Okay, so if that was in here, in this part,
Yep,
and the person achieved that, did a great job at it,
yep.
how would that affect their rating scale? You have a rating scale. Does that mean that they did superior job at doing that, if it all came out good? But it,
Well, you could do, I see what you're saying. You couldn't, you wouldn't be only looking at that, though, for an evaluation, though, right?
no.
Okay.
No. It's just, I think,
It's just a framework in which last year to connect this year and the goals from that they had last year. Is that,
yeah, the way I look at it is everybody should have their standard duties that they're supposed to be doing. And on top of that, goals and objectives of things, how they'd like to make things better. So
Right.
if you're doing just what you're supposed to do,
Right.
you're just a level employee.
Right.
If you start setting some goals and achieving more things, whether reorganizing this department, setting this up or that, those are all goals. And those are the things that get the people the extra
It also
shining
means
star.
that you're forcing them to have a plan.
to have a plan and to be able to achieve above and beyond or
Just in general.
something, yeah. And they could also be goals that are used to correct issues. Somebody always leaves 10 coffee cups on their desk, or, or doesn't clean up after themselves or something. A goal could be for them to start doing that. And that's why I thought the goals should remain as a separate thing from the comments of like interpersonal skills or planning and organization. Those are all
Do you propose that we set the goals, or they set the goals, and then we review?
together. Together, they should be. The goals based on the needs of the town department in the future, going forward. We talked about, one of the things was starting to scan more documents in and getting everything more
Yeah.
electronic and piling things up. That would be a goal that you could set for one, to begin scanning, get to a certain point or that, or set up a system for it.
how that got messed up, but...
A goal for a supervisor could be is manage overtime better and things like that, fit within their budget.
We don't get much overtime, town hall.
Very little, the town
Very.
administrative assistant is really the only one that gets overtime.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Bye. Bye. That was Gail, she's on her way.
And that would be our issue, not the employees. If we're meeting a lot and we require, like Gail, she's coming in tonight, overtime, that she's gonna try and switch stuff around, but if she can't, we have to pay for that.
For what?
Overtime
yeah,
in
that-
town hall, we're just
I
talking
mean, that
about.
was, I wasn't specifically picking that, I was just throwing things out there. But what I was saying is the goals, the difference between the comment section and the goal section should be in such a way that you're not combining the rating that they're getting
Yeah.
on their interpersonal section does not include a goal. A goal should be something separate.
So it
Goals are
sounds,
on the back.
right, so it sounds like we should
Goals.
keep Part 2 and Part 3. It's the goals and,
I
all
would just keep the whole thing and just take out that really doesn't apply to the PD.
right. So, but you have different,
Well, my problem with this was, and that's the reason I went to this, is it doesn't have the same headings, like,
we can change the headings.
I like the heading,
well, I mean, we could add to them, so, if you look at the
so
highway,
comprehensive.
work habits.
So that would be
So
job skills
is
and,
work habits broken down into interpersonal skills, planning and organization, flexibility up to problem solving, initiative, and risk management.
It's,
I mean, do you know what I mean?
job skills and knowledge, I would say.
But isn't interpersonal skills, isn't that a work habit?
It seems like we just
Planning
had
and
that.
organizing is a work habit, so.
Work habits could
It's
be,
just-
These are all work habits.
All I'm saying is, this is based on the PD. It's more defined than highways and ours, so I was trying to keep ours more similar to highway, just me. So,
I'd rather
works
go
as
the
a
other
team
way.
member. And I think it does say that in here.
It's more
I think it
comprehensive.
says it in here a couple of times.
If you look at, you have, what do you have? Start from the beginning, under 1, under written communication. What do you have under there that's highlighted that you want to have changed under there? We need
On
to
this?
add this to
Oh, we can
here.
add that later.
Yep.
So written communication, what I thought should be out is able to prepare required routine reports or related documents with minimal supervision. I mean, that's directly a PD thing. There are very few of us in here that write reports. So I thought we could word that differently.
So is this similar to what Tim does in his report? Or your report once a month that you do without supervision? Is that like a
Mine's
help,
quarterly.
a quarterly help officer?
Yeah.
Code enforcement?
Yeah, so I think Tim and I in code, well, I write more of a report because I have to wait for the state.
But these are routine, required routine reports or
Right, which they do every day.
So,
What's a report exactly? Is that
Well, it would
general
be-
paperwork, or it's got to be specifically tied to,
well, it would be all your MS documents that we have to have. It would be,
what's a report? The Joyce does reports, Tim does reports, Dari does reports, Al does, Catherine
Dari
does.
doesn't do reports,
He has all sorts of paperwork that he has to turn in.
but he doesn't do reports.
That sounds like a report to me. If you have to put stuff on paper that becomes a document of fact in any way, it's a report. Just like the MS ones.
Those are forms.
Doesn't carry the same weight, but he still has to be able to fill out his paperwork properly.
routine even be in there?
no, I don't think so.
Just reports, and then it's general if, because
I don't think we need
everybody
that
has.
I think if you took out routine and related,
Right.
is able to prepare required reports or documents.
Yep,
I think if you
agree.
took those two words out, then that would make a little more sense.
yeah.
Because Tim would have to do the report. So it would be, is able to prepare required reports or documents with minimal supervision. That
Yep.
works.
I like
Right?
that.
All right.
I'm on board.
And then number 2, I just chopped the sentence, that says, listen, I'm in the middle of oral
Yep.
communications. Listen to what individuals, members of the public, peers, or supervisors have to say. And I took off, and can elicit valuable information from others.
Right.
I mean, that's a police tactic of getting
Yep.
info. So I just took that off. And then we have communications in ours.
So we can add.
So we could add, like, expresses ideas, concern, and suggestions clearly and professionally. Contributes positive ideas in order to make improvements. Keeps the Board of Selectmen apprised of new developments, changes, and provides supporting documents as appropriate.
Are you still on oral communication?
That's in my list of what I thought should be added.
You're merging to, John.
And that comes a lot of that comes from the Public Works document. Although I didn't think we need to put communications with foreman.
So you're talking about,
Do you want, keeps the Board of Selectmen apprised of new developments, changes, and provides?
Who is that aimed at? Dari? Joyce, I could see.
Oh, no, that's just Joyce, that's Tim?
Joyce, finance officer,
everybody-
Dari.
IT?
Yeah,
That's the same guy.
I know, but would still would.
Dari,
It's not Kim. Dari doesn't make reports to us.
but yes, he does Bitter and Lane.
No, this is apprise of new developments, changes, and provide supporting documents as appropriate.
911,
So if Board of Selectmen apprised of new developments, if there's a new development that comes up, let's say something's changed, something's come up different, okay.
yeah,
the
The
lights
server
at the
went-
Tilton Prep School.
The server went up at the...
Oh, you're right,
Right,
too.
okay, or we have to buy two, thank you, Gail. We have to buy two new computers because lightning hit them up at the PD. That's a new development. That's something that came up. That they have to apprise the Board of Selectmen of that. So that would be almost in every department. All right,
and I don't see any other category that should fit under other than,
Yeah, no, I didn't
that
either.
does fit perfect. Okay,
Then
so
you have-
you did cross out "and can elicit valuable information."
I crossed that out, that was just my opinion.
I
And then
agree.
you have job...
Doesn't that mean ask questions?
No, that's
No.
the employee gathering information for a
Yeah.
case.
Or gathering information about state laws, or planning board decisions, or virtually anything.
Well, that's listed...
I like to think that they would
That's
ask
listed in another
questions
place.
and gather information.
Where did I see that? Now I've got them.
Was it don't ask questions concern?
Let's see that.
That's in here someplace.
Just saying.
I think it's in this one. Oh, it isn't.
if it's easier to hear us, Gail, you can come over here if you want, because it's only just
So
us.
under oral communication, it
Have a
says,
seat. Get out of the sun.
is able to explain town positions, policies,
We don't bite
procedures, services,
much.
programs, and activities to others.
Do you have the new one?
I don't have any.
724.
I made an extra. Where'd it go?
It is.
This is the list that I made.
Here's, no, that's not it.
I thought I made an extra one.
Is this the one that you had?
I did, it's right here. This is the
What about
extra
this
one of
one?
these.
And this is the extra one of those?
Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Do you have an extra one?
but it doesn't, no, this one doesn't say 724 at the top.
Well, I think it's pretty much the same document, isn't it? Because the one I'm working off doesn't have 724 either.
Okay. So this is the one I think we're working off, hopefully.
Or it's close enough.
So if you look at page 1 page 2. Under where it says written communications, we took out the routine.
Can I write on this?
Yep. Took out routine and related. And then, under oral communications, we took out, in the middle sentence, and can elicit valuable information from others.
I think Joe is a point, yeah, we agreed to that. Joe is a point that, the ability of somebody to orally make phone calls down to whether it's the government center or call other people up and use oral skills to find out information should somehow be included in that.
Well, don't you think you already have that in the top 2?
Yeah.
Speaks in a clear and listens. So you speak and you listen. You put out and you take in.
If we need to address that particular thing, we can actually do it within the framework of the evaluation itself.
Right.
You have problems talking to DES.
I would-
Or whatever, that's a communication
I
problem.
would think that would be more in like an interpersonal skill, or no? If you're
It's both.
Well, if I put in
interdepartmental.
oral communications, I think, the reason I
Kind of
wanted
both.
to take out and can elicit valuable information, it sounded like somebody was, what do they do when they take the bad guy and they put him in the room
It's an interrogation.
and they interrogate him? That's what it sounded like.
How about just listens well?
It does say that, listens to what individual members of the peers or supervisors have to say.
That's-
And then if you read further on in here, it does talk about, here's treating, has a genuine interest and desire to assist, effectively schedule plans, flexible, that's how to effectively scrutinize, that's how to take action.
It should be audience says instead of audience.
But here's here's what it says for communication in the Highway Department one. It says, communicates with, we don't need to communicate with foremen, maintains open communication with coworkers and other personnel to ensure smooth and efficient operation, expresses ideas, concerns, and suggestions clearly and professionally, contributes positive ideas in order to make improvements, translates, we don't need to interpret engineering data, and
Right.
brief select person on a regular basis on the state of his department accomplishments and pending projects, but we already have that.
That's a supervisor.
Should oral
isn't it?
communication include something up in a professional manner?
So, under,
That's what it says, expresses ideas, concerns, and suggestions clearly and professionally.
And this one doesn't.
No, this
under
one doesn't.
communications, under where we're at right now,
That's why this list,
oral communications, we're taking the 3 on Catherine's list, right there,
I thought
and
we
we're
should
adding
add
those
that to it.
to that.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Right.
You already got that covered. I thought it was my idea.
It's a good idea.
It says
Take a look.
expresses ideas,
I like
concerns,
that.
and suggestions clearly and professionally.
I like that.
Right, that's, I just pointed out, that's on this list.
And we're
but I thought
adding
we
that.
should add that to number 2.
Right, I got that already.
Yeah, well, I was
Yep.
catching him up.
Okay.
What does as appropriate mean? Or is that yet to be defined?
I think it's appropriate to the position.
I think it would be individual departments.
Everybody has a different
Okay, I get it.
requirement to communicate with the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, I'm on board with all that.
We get traffic, we get reports of burglary calls, accidents and things from the police department,
Yeah.
and we get maintenance and highway and things like that from...
Sure.
All right, under interpersonal skills, what do you have crossed out there?
I put a green line through the bottom one, maintains composure and self-control, especially during high-pressure situations.
Man, I'd get a
Okay.
0 on that one.
Because it already talks about without arousing antagonism, treating people in a manner that shows sensitivity to their needs. I thought that was just specifically, domestic violence kind of dispute, which we really, I didn't think it really pertained. I thought it was overkill, but it could go
Seems
either
like we
way.
had a thing just recently within the employee ranks where one particular employee
Yep.
might have, that would come into that situation, maintaining his composure and self-control.
Well, see, here again, in our others, we have an attitude column, which is similar to this. So in my list, I have courteous and professional when dealing with coworkers, administration, and the general public, maintains positive attitude and team spirit, promotes town in a positive manner, and this is strictly from Highway, receptive to suggestions and direction, accepts feedback in a positive manner, responds to requests from administrative staff, fellow employees, the public, and our selectmen.
I like all of them.
Those come from the Highway. So I thought that without being repetitive in here, we could take those and combine this and kind of make a little more sense.
If we do that, then I would prefer to take out maintains composure and self-control, especially during high-pressure situations, because you have courtesy and professional when dealing with coworkers, promotes town in a positive manner, maintains positive attitude and team spirit. I mean, that covers it in different directions. Accepts feedback in a positive manner, receptive to suggestions. So you have all of that that's going to counteract. So I'd vote for taking that one out and adding under Catherine's list, under attitude, everything under the bullets, under attitude.
I got an issue with the fifth one. Response to requests from administrative staff, that makes sense. Fellow employees, that makes sense. You want to grab that other end, that kind of thing. The public, certainly, and/or selectmen, I'd like it to say the Board of Selectmen. Because this indicates that any selectmen, if they don't respond, then they're failing to do their job. That's what we're evaluating them on. And I have no authority whatsoever to go down there and say, Arthur, do this, John, do that, Fred. I really don't have, only the Board of Selectmen, a decision that's made by all of us, because we act as
Change
one.
selectmen to select board.
It's Select Board.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a select board. It's
Right.
the Board of
The
Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen
That's why it's plural.
is the proper
I
term.
just left it plural, selectmen. We can put the Board of Selectmen.
I would rather
Not
have it
select
do,
man. It's not singular.
I'd like to have it very specific.
So that would be fine.
That's fine. All right.
That's
Are we
good.
talking this job thing just for highway right now?
No, we're talking for town hall and highway.
Yeah,
And what about PD?
Well, PD's separate.
PD's all done.
Okay.
We got a different,
separate but the same kind of, sort of.
You would only leave that in case of a police officer.
that's right. This was modeled after the police one, okay? That's why we have to take some of this out of it. All right, under planning and organizing, effective schedule, plans and organizes time in order to work assignment.
I
I
like
didn't cross anything out.
Yeah, identified. I like that. I like exactly what it says. And it fits a lot of our employees.
There was only a couple of things under ability that I thought maybe. But,
I'll spit it out there.
Maybe,
well, like motivates coworkers, like, promotes cooperation and team spirit in coworkers. But that's not really planning and organization, I guess.
On number 5, I think we should just take right out.
Flexibility and adaptability.
Why?
Well, because you have it under attitude, and you have it under communication, we certainly have it under work habits.
That's a very specific
Just put
criteria.
is able to be flexible and adaptable as necessary. really have to get into specifics, because all of these,
I just don't like the way this is worded. Adapts
I don't either.
behavior and attitudinal responses to changing circumstances, policies, and attitudes of others, including peers, citizens. And so if I got an ugly coworker coming in, and I have to deal with that every day, which we know that there's some, I mean,
this is more under
Adapt.
attitude instead of flexibility and adaptability.
How would you adapt your behavior?
Right.
Right.
That's
According to if somebody's got a bad attitude,
Well,
you need
that's
to
where I
adapt yours to
thought
have a bad attitude?
this might
or
be
you
a
should
place
Be steady.
to, suck out our attitude. Although, no, we did that in 3.
Attitude.
See, 3, we
See-
added attitude to.
right, so I would think that we don't, I don't even think we need it, because we've got the attitude over here, unless it's supposed to be saying, unless you want to add just a sentence here under attitude, the ability to be flexible in difficult situations.
But I agree with you, and I think that we're saying that. Like, just underneath it, knows
Without
how to
saying.
effectively scrutinize, size up a situation, identifies and isolates problems and solutions, evaluates alternative courses of action, and makes logical decision. And then I think you have that in
Problem solving.
problem solving.
All right, well, everybody agree we'll just take 5 out?
Sure, let's just take 5 out.
So number 6 becomes 5. Okay. Knows when to take action and what type of action is appropriate, anticipates and responds appropriate. Yeah, I like this better. Decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment and require only routine review by the supervisor. I don't like that at all.
Where are you?
Number 6, which is now number 5, problem solving.
I took out analyzes facts, information, and evidence in a logical sequence so that she can identify the similarities and differences among situations.
I don't have that.
I don't have that.
Oh, well, that's what I have.
Knows how to effectively analyze and size up a situation.
Yep, I have that. Evaluates alternative courses of action and makes logical decisions.
Yeah?
Get that?
Yeah?
Which did you cross out?
Maybe we already crossed it out. Analyzes facts, information. and
That I don't have.
You have
knows
that?
when to take action and what type of action is appropriate. And I was kind of on the fence with that. Do you have that in there?
No.
Okay, good.
You do?
Say that again?
That one,
Knows when to take action and what type of action is appropriate.
We have that.
lower middle.
Yep.
So I'm kind of on the fence with that.
No, I don't agree with that.
What kind of action are they, who knows,
Right.
problem solving and decision-making, knows when to take action. What does that mean?
But you're saying it already, knows how to effectively analyze and size up a situation. You already said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've already, I mean, that's just double. And that sentence that Catherine has on hers, you've taken that out, right?
Analyzes facts
Take out the analysis
Yeah.
facts?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then anticipates events and responds appropriately. Do you guys have that?
Yep.
And decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment and require only routine review by the supervisor.
I
I don't agree with that.
don't either. Because it doesn't only require, only routine.
No, everything is pretty well sized, is
Decisions
The way
are
it is.
usually based on appropriate judgment and require routine review by the supervisor. I think if we took out only, decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment and require routine review by the supervisor. Or,
See, if you go over to initiative, you have identifies and attempts to develop and use new ideas, processes, and procedures. So
okay,
we're really kind of more in these other columns telling them how to make decisions.
so it's overlap.
I think that's overlap, and I think it
All right,
doesn't
we could take
really
that out.
work.
What do you think to take out?
Decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment and require only routine review by the supervisor.
I got no problem with that,
Yeah, I think that's,
really.
So you've already, if you look at the
I
other
see the other ones
I
over
think you're gonna
here,
find it.
but I like having
Here's one.
something that says that.
here's what I'm saying, if somebody, let's say the building inspector goes out, has to make decisions or something, or, I'm wondering, they have to make appropriate judgment.
But what are you
Like gray areas.
evaluating them
Yeah, but
on?
I don't have a problem with, yeah, exactly.
Then I'd take the
Right.
last half of it out.
Problem solving.
I have
The
to
problem
review
I
all your
have is
stuff.
require only routine review by the supervisor.
Take that out.
I don't have a problem with decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment, that's fine. You could say
What do they mean
decision-
by routine review by supervisor? What does that mean?
I don't know.
No.
What have you been up to? I did this, and that.
Yeah, I don't think, if...
Why
like,
did
at
you
the
give
building-
that guy a ticket for going through the stop sign when he was out of light?
No,
with
that's
his stop?
police. We're talking about town hall here, right?
That's what this is based on. That's why
Yeah, yeah.
some of this language is in here.
Well,
And then,
Yeah,
now adapted over to town hall.
So,
Only routine review by the supervisor? Most people down there are,
it has to be a supervisor to review
Yeah.
it, and that's why it's saying it like this. So we can say decision-making is based upon appropriate judgment, period,
yeah, decisions are usually based on appropriate judgment.
and just take the rest out.
okay,
And then that leaves it,
so take out and require only.
right. Got that? All right, initiative. Identifies and attempts to develop, what did you take out?
Nothing.
And should there be like either bullets or lines with each
No.
one of these? Because what are you, I mean, you're evaluating on each one of those, right?
Yes. And you're going to come up with satisfactory, exemplary, whatever, that's the
For that
scoring.
whole paragraph?
Yep.
Or for each individual?
For the whole paragraph. But it's based on each individual, so probably
Because you can make comments underneath about,
That's
each
what
individual.
The comment box is for, yeah.
They could do great on through 3 of those things, and one could
So
use a
they-
little more work, so that
So probably
would
they
be the
should be in
comment.
like a bullet, in front of
Or
each,
have a little number.
in front of
So
each
2
item.
up here
Right.
translates to 2 down here.
or
Yeah.
A, B, C, and D or something.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that.
yeah, something
But if you
specific.
do that, then you're taking each sentence underneath those and making it one complete thought, where I think in some of these, it's the whole thought. You're identifying ability or problem solving, so
Well, if you,
in order
I
to
see it
get,
more of the, if
in order
there's
to
a
get an
downside.
S, if they're gonna get an S, then they need to know that.
yeah, if you're going to get an N or
We're
a
grading them on the
C,
whole thing.
you're going to grade them on the whole thing, but if you get a C or an N, for me as an employee, I would like to know what area,
Why?
what area in initiative did I get why I got a C
Wouldn't
and
you
an
put that
N.
under comments?
Yes, and that's what they're saying, you could refer to it by,
So bullets is just so people can more easily identify each sentence?
Right,
No, that
Each
makes me
thought.
crazy, okay.
all right.
It's in a C, Concord.
So the next one, so we're in
Doing what's
initiative, we're kind of running out of headings.
Be worried.
In our previous one and the highway one, there's a column of ability. Works independently with little direction, knowledge of laws and codes, ability to establish and maintain effective work relations with employees, officials, and the public. I think we have that in places. We definitely have promotes cooperation, team spirit, and coworkers, displays good organizational skills. So do we have all of those somewhere in here?
Under various headings, sort of, kind of.
I don't think we
Some of
have knowledge of laws and codes.
No, there's some of them that don't
That
exist.
be,
That would be
Job
under
skills and
job
law-
skills and
okay.
knowledge, right.
so
Yeah,
that would be 10?
All right, under 10 scale,
Jump it up to
on
10.
her list, we're jumping around now.
Well, we don't have to, I'm
Under
just,
number 10,
I can go through this when we're done.
you're going to add knowledge of laws and codes.
and ordinances.
laws, codes, and
Then-
ordinance.
And
you throw in-
administrative rules.
Regulations?
Not right.
Well,
We could write a little book here, on all the things they have to know.
that's why I wrote knowledge of laws and codes.
Policy,
Because
procedure.
under codes is administrative rules, ordinances.
Yeah,
Okay.
the employee
I can live with
man,
that.
And,
Yeah.
but I think you should add,
Including but not limited to?
That sums it up.
all right.
where is ability?
Are we talking about 10?
We're talking about...
What's that last sentence mean? Effectively retains past and present information in his,
Oh,
her
forget that.
assigned areas of responsibility.
That's a pretty,
Remember what happened yesterday?
You're the town historian.
Remember what happened
Can we,
yesterday?
can we,
2 weeks ago, John,
Wow.
you talked to me about thus and so. 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, oh yeah, based on what the conversation I had with John, I learned something, and I can use it over here in an unrelated case. Now, that's what I think is an area, it would explain that comment. Does it need to be in the review?
No.
I don't know. If you don't have
somebody
any
in
memory.
Dari's position has to know past information.
Oh, everybody does.
but that's
Everybody does.
effectively retains. I don't think you should have to,
I'm not going to base my evaluation, well,
Part of
wait a
it's
minute.
memory.
If I have to tell you
3 times.
5 times how to do something, you're not retaining
That's
something.
right, that's why, that's covered in
well,
there.
that's
too.
follow direction,
But that's follow direction.
but, yeah,
Not if you don't. you
No,
did
that's
right this
retaining
time,
it.
but I gotta tell
You've
you
got a
again tomorrow.
problem with it if you're not
You
retaining
can
it.
follow directions, but you also have to retain
Yeah,
information.
you're not retaining it.
You can either be a monkey or you can think.
No, I think that should stay, to be honest with you. It says here, effective,
I think it...
are we all set with that staying?
Well, I have a problem with the way it's worded then. I don't think it's worded in such a way, I don't know. Effectively retains past and present information. Assigned areas.
In his or her job function? Instead of assigned areas of responsibility? It would be effectively retains past and present information in his or her job function?
I don't see a whole lot of difference.
I don't
I
either.
think it's the retains past and present that he's...
I'm okay with the wording.
Past and present,
I
yeah.
mean, we could change the words around, but I
How about
think
just
that
effectively retains information? Doesn't have to be past or present. It's just
that
the...
could work, either way.
You want to take past and present
I
out?
think so, just... and that makes it
Retains
work.
information implies past and present.
Okay.
So are we being redundant?
Yeah.
We are being redundant.
The one thing that we didn't write in under ability, under job skills and knowledge, let's stay on this one for a minute, because this is under ability. We have works independently with little direction. Do you want to add that under here?
Job skills,
See if it's someplace else.
And that, wouldn't that be under initiative?
We don't have initiative in here, do we? Oh, there it is, yes, we do.
7?
Either that or interpersonal skills.
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, or interpersonal skills.
Job skills, knowledge.
What number's interpersonal skills?
3. Yeah, I could go with either initiative or interpersonal skills.
Initiative more, interpersonal seems like,
Initiative needs more padding.
Yep. Initiative.
initiative.
So works independently.
Do we have anything in here about managing time wisely?
That's coming up.
That's coming up. All right, the other one is ability to establish and maintain effective working relationships with employees, officials, and the public, or promotes cooperation and team spirit in coworkers, and displays good organizational, displays good organization we already had in organization.
Under interpersonal skills, we has a genuine interest in and a desire to assist and participate with others.
Yeah.
So maybe if that's a better sentence, I think, and that comes straight from Public Works one.
Which is the
Ability
All
to
right.
establish, maybe we could replace the first sentence in interpersonal with that one.
I like that.
Ability to establish and maintain.
yes.
What do you
I
think?
like that better. Yeah.
Which one are we replacing with
three.
that?
The top one on interpersonal has a genuine interest in and a desire to assist, participate with others.
You bet.
I hate birds.
I love them.
People think they're singing, I think they're out there
No?
complaining. Listen to that noise.
They're complaining
The,
about the
uh,
bears.
Cold, the sun's shining, it's
The
windy.
Baltimore Orioles actually sing before they eat,
Glasses,
and then they
goddamn
eat.
feet down
Yeah.
into the
Look at
drain.
that
jelly.
seed, it's moldy.
I got my grape jelly already
Why
out
isn't there a
there.
big fat worm in here?
Grape jelly and oranges.
That's what they're saying.
But I didn't know the
Oh,
big-
grapes, they love it. And catbirds love it.
Number 3.
All right. So, the other, the only one, I think we've taken care of this list, Catherine.
The only thing we don't have is work habits. If you look at the highway, maintains a good attendance record, I think John just said that. Maintains accurate records and personnel files. Is that anywhere else? We should, it doesn't have to say personnel files,
that under
because only
planning
one
and
person
organization?
does. This is in the,
Wouldn't that be job skills and knowledge?
That's personnel files are very specific to very few people.
No, but maintaining
yeah.
good attendance?
work habits?
Well, no attendance, but you were talking about maintaining personnel
Do
files.
people show up to work on time?
Well, why don't we make that a number 5?
It's already number 11, isn't it?
Where?
Attendance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I can think of one employee that if you use this particular criteria, they would be completely unsatisfactory. And yet, their job is without question done.
Catherine, could you read how it says in the highway under under attendance?
Maintains a good attendance record.
There you go. Got to come in for plowing, you're there.
But this would be for town hall.
Yeah, and no matter what that particular employee, no matter how what you put in here, chances are he's not going to score very well if they're stuck with this specific thing. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't fit every other employee,
Well,
but when the
Yeah.
time comes, we need to consider that.
But
you can write in the comments that although
Yeah.
this person does that, their job requires them.
Yeah, yeah.
No, right, we already know that job is flexible in different hours and so on and so forth, so that's very different from the 9 to 5 position that we have already, 8 to 30, whatever.
Well,
it is.
that position doesn't fit into any of the categories.
doesn't.
under there.
But
No.
attendance would fit into attendance if they were unable to schedule their duties at
No,
all.
then it would be a problem. It would definitely be
Yeah.
a problem, but
But
if
we
they're-
have people that take, like Joyce and Tim, who are salary, who shift adjust.
Right.
So maybe they're not here at 9 o'clock in the morning, but they're here at 7 o'clock at night.
Well, we're thinking of
Or-
IT,
I'm
right?
thinking
Right, well,
kind of IT and Sunday
Joyce.
night at 2.
It's like Joyce can be out,
Right,
but she can be here until 7 o'clock at night,
right, well,
getting ready for the next day.
Oftentimes is.
oftentimes is, and sometimes they work until 9, 10 o'clock at night and come in late in the morning, and sometimes the computer work is only done at night.
I'm
So-
only saying this
Exactly.
because according to
No,
this
you're right.
criteria,
Right,
we would have to score them.
we're in trouble if we don't word
But I
it right.
think we
Then
know the
is-
employee well enough so that the comment section would apply.
And is
But you
shift
figure in-
appropriate? We don't have shifts. At beginning of
Appears at work
specified
on time
or-
and prepared to start the beginning of the
What time do you get here in the morning, Gail?
workday, beginning of the workday.
No later than 8, and what time do you get off?
Depends on the day.
3:34, what time would be?
I work 8 to 4:30.
8 to 4:30 is her shift. Might come in a little early, might come in a little late one day, leave early, but the regular office hours, I think that would be shift. You're right, John, I mean, there's a lot of,
But we don't have a shift. You have to think of this, if we change this and we have a different board next year, could happen.
You're only going to have the possibility of one new person next year.
well, that's still a different board.
There's such thing as write-ins, you know that.
But there's only one position open.
Position up,
Right. It's the odd year.
the odd year.
I'm looking for
Put some out already.
specific candy
Decline a
here.
write-in.
There's this one kind that really, I like those, but
There will be.
there's another
Dark
one
chocolate's healthy.
that you brought in.
Why did I get the love here?
Probably ate them all.
So the only one we skipped over,
Okay.
risk management, number 8.
Risk management. Understands.
I took out the hazardous work one in the middle. Maybe you guys don't have it. I have exercises and acceptable.
Yeah, we have it.
I took it out. I mean, in town hall, we don't have hazardous work assignments.
Carrying anything over a certain amount of weight would be a hazardous work assignment.
Well, I think
I
that
mean,
would vary.
proper lifting.
That would be unsafe condition.
Walking down the ramp in the winter,
Yeah.
but again, unsafe condition.
Well,
Left in the bottom one because who knows?
you see, I don't think we should ever be putting an employee into something as a potentially hazardous work assignment.
I don't either.
We should always be putting them in, they should be following
right.
safety, workplace safety procedures.
Well, that's the level of care involved. If something weighs 100 pounds, you don't
That's the
get
one
two
under the-
guys. you
But
put
even
you
if,
on
we
the
can't
elevator.
say, we're going to put you into potentially hazardous work assignment, but you need to take the proper level of care for that. We just should not put them into a potentially hazardous
How about proper
situation.
level of care when completing work assignments?
It should follow
Because almost everything they do is hazardous.
workplace,
maybe.
standard workplace safety.
Observes, reports, and corrects unsafe conditions or work practices. Uses and wears protective equipment and clothing appropriate for work activity. And then the top one is understands and follows established safety procedures and regulations as they apply to equipment, the safety of himself, herself, co-workers, and public at large.
I think it's safe to take that middle one out.
Because it's all, everything
Because you
that
have it at the
pertains is
first
above
and the
them.
second,
Yeah,
right.
I agree. Number 9, I just took out, after it says her role, I put in the organization.
Where you at? Number 9?
Number 9.
Number 9.
So you took out what?
Everything
it says
after
her
responsibilities?
role, it says as well as his/her role. I took out in the organization.
Yeah.
That's a leftover PD phrase. And his or her,
Town hall's not an organization.
I was thinking if there should say job description.
It's nitpicking, I gotta tell you.
Because role in the organization, wouldn't that be the same as job description?
Why can't you just say assign duties and responsibilities and leave it at that?
Everything after responsibilities could go away.
Well, because they should know their job description.
Right.
They do, they know and they accept their assigned duties. That is their job description.
Not all of it.
Okay.
So where are we at with that?
I mean, how do different positions down there relate to, say, the administrator or the selectman? That's not necessarily assigned duties.
That's one of their responsibilities, is dealing with them.
just
Hey,
think-
I'm okay. I don't even know why I'm fighting over this. I don't think it's that important.
I just think it makes it a more complete thought.
By
So
taking
take
stuff
out in
away,
the
it's more
organization.
Role in the organization and then put job description. Responsibilities as well as his/her job description. My suggestion.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
But see, now read down below.
Oh, the second one,
Does
yeah.
not require direction and/or instruction beyond what would typically be expected as defined by the job description.
We could probably take that out because that just, we've already said it in the initial.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that,
Where's
does
it?
not require direction and/or instruction beyond, so they're supposed to know the job description and just go forth and do. I think that's what it says, doesn't it?
Yeah, a yes means a no.
We'll take it out.
I would say take it out. I gotta watch you two down here.
I think you guys are quibbling.
They're,
Leave it in, take it out. We're gonna, all right.
that's what this whole purpose of this meeting is for.
Sounds like we've got a list, and we're just changing it for the list.
Checking it twice. Gonna find out who's
We're
not.
gonna have a good working evaluation out of this.
I'm sure whatever form it takes, it'll be a good working form. So that's why I'm...
We did number 10, right?
Shut up.
Yep,
And we did number 11.
yep.
We sort of got way late on number 11.
I don't know what 12 is, that should, I just wrote employee policy there, whatever it says. in
Comes to
employee.
work dressed appropriately for the job being performed and to the setting.
But we don't have a uniform.
And
we
say
changed our-
uniform.
Mine says come to work dressed appropriately in the uniform attire of the day for their assignment.
No, ours says comes to work dressed appropriately for the job being performed into the job setting.
No uniform, just dress appropriately.
You're saying?
Comes to work dressed appropriately for the job being performed into the job setting.
I thought it should say what the employee policy says. I know that we've had, and I don't even remember what that is, we've had suggestions, no piercings,
Anywhere?
no open-toed sandals, no shorts.
Appropriately for the
How
job.
about heels?
No, there was a lot of things that
Those
have
could
come
be
before.
hazardous.
No tattoos showing came once.
Catch one on a ledge.
That stuff's in there.
I came with, I met fake ones and stuck it
ramp.
right there, and I said, what do you mean no tattoo showing?
What a tragedy.
Comes to work dressed appropriately according to the employee's manual.
Windows.
There you go.
I don't think that's
As per the
unreasonable.
Town of Tilton Employee Manual.
Yeah, then it
Town of
then it will
Tilton
change.
manual.
It will change whenever the
There
manual
were
is. Yeah.
3 things in the work habits. I didn't know if I was satisfied that they were in there, because we don't have a heading that says work habits. It's kind of spread out. Dependable and versatile is one. Consistently produces quality work. Completes required paperwork accurately and on time. Those were the 3.
That's important.
Are we,
Now, how would
Stick
that
'em in
be
there anyway.
addressed in any of the things that we
Job
presently have?
skills.
Job skills and knowledge is completing work, for sure.
No,
Do you know
Consistently
your
produces
job?
quality work, does it say that in there?
under 4, planning and organization?
That's job skills.
What are
That's
you
what it
adding?
was, that was just suggested.
Would that be under number 4, planning and organization?
Planning and organization, let's look.
Which one you talking about?
He said 4, planning and organization.
I know,
Completing
but-
things on time
I
and,
don't think so. I think dependable and versatile is probably interpersonal skills,
yeah,
right?
I was talking about completing assignments.
So you want to
Paperwork.
put dependable and versatile under interpersonal
Yep.
skills? To number 3.
Flexible, versatile.
So then the last 2 would be the same, consistently produces quality work and completes required paperwork accurately and on time.
Job skills.
Job skills?
Yep.
Where do you have that? Is that on your list?
That's under
That's under the highway.
10, I believe.
Consistently produces quality work and completes required paperwork is under work habits in the highway department, Public Works Director. Add to number 6. Phew.
6, 9.
Bingo.
I didn't mess with the rest of it.
We're not adding that to 6, we're adding that to number 10.
Well, which is now number 9.
Oh, I'm
which is
sorry,
now-
yes.
Okay,
I'm just,
you're right,
Okay.
sorry.
Formerly known as.
I'm following this. I am.
number 10.
I'm right here. Missed the
I'm
second.
closing this.
Better you than me.
Now,
Did we
Go
just,
back to the Public Works one, completing, what was the? Public Works.
Please
Let me
require
just-
paperwork.
It's in the green.
that's going to be under job
Require
skills.
paperwork accurately and on time. Where did you put that?
Job skills.
Job skills.
And
The
knowledge.
last two is job skills.
Number 10,
Now 9.
which is now 9.
I think I got it.
I'm thinking more planning and organization, number 4, that should be under.
We can put it under both.
Bad battle.
Effectively schedules, plans, and organizes use of time in order to complete work assignments and projects efficiently. So we can take that off in number 9, complete required paperwork accurately on time. So you've already got it under.
Yeah, you got it under number 4. It says, in order to complete work assignments and projects efficiently.
And on time.
Or you could just add "and on time."
Organizes use of time in order to complete work.
Plans and organizes use of
In
time.
a timely basis or on time?
It says,
I think it says.
plans and organizes use of time in order to complete work assignments and projects efficiently.
Meets deadlines?
I think you're right.
Consistently meets deadlines or something?
So just add consistently meets deadlines, and that would be fine.
Does it say quality work? Or is that going to go under 10?
10 is job skills and knowledge, right? Yeah, quality.
It kind of says it, just in different language. When this document is created, can we make sure the dates are all correct? Because there's dates throughout this thing.
Yeah, see, it says here, from 2003, boom. We need to leave that blank,
Leave the dates
because
out.
that's what we'll be putting in.
Unless we're going to do this again next year.
Then up here, just put draft, the date, and then when it's approved, we'll put approved.
Well, I think on these back pages too, like part 2, what does it start?
We can just put a footer in and put revised on the date.
See part 2? I wouldn't even put a date there.
Okay,
And then part 3 has a date, part 4 doesn't. Part 5, I don't see one.
Part 4 has a date.
Does it?
It's prepared by and the evaluation meetings conducted by.
Right, but it's not filled in.
Oh, I got it.
These up here have specific dates, the 2014 to 15.
Why do we need any dates on them?
That's what I said, leave them out.
Just a date on the front? It's
Yeah,
all one
and then
file?
down where we sign it.
Does it get bound together, stapled together in the folder and?
Why don't we list every revision date so we know when we need to look at it again?
So you okay with making us up a draft to go along with this and,
Is this on the left?
How are we shooting for?
Joyce must have it,
Yes.
because she's the one who created it.
yeah, and,
That was easy.
you want Town of Tilton, this is the one you want, and it will say up here, approved 7/24,
At home.
2014.
There. That's one right there, sure.
Can we change unsatisfactory to incompetent?
Incompetent. I like that.
Call the spade,
Idiot.
that too.
Hi, for idiot.
Or as I tell my students,
So-
ID10T,
Did we actually
write
complete
it down.
an evaluation?
That
I
was-
think so. We're going to want to definitely review it.
Absolutely.
And then fine tune it, but I think we're pretty good.
So now we only have trash ordinances and the litter ordinance?
We've got winter maintenance policy, we got the
Rental
trenching
property.
ordinance.
Rental
Number of
property.
different contracts.
Why did I open my mouth? We're getting there. We got two, we got,
We gotta write an RFP so we can put the garbage out to bid.
That has to happen eventually.
It's gotta happen now.
okay, please get a list of,
We've only got a year.
That's
listen,
right.
this Thursday night is really, really busy, so please get a list of your, what you need to talk about. Get it to us soon.
You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, send it to Gail and we can, because we have Bittern Lane coming in, we have,
This is Bittern Lane.
yep,
This is gonna be ugly.
this is Bittern Lane Week. We have
When are they doing the Tilton
the
School Light?
9 PM,
9 o'clock,
at 9 PM,
Tilton School Lights.
Tonight?
No,
next
Thursday.
Thursday night, 9 PM.
So now
And we
we'll-
have,
We'll leave here and go there?
We'll be out at
Yeah.
9.
we have we have the highway coming in to look at, the review.
So,
Yeah, there's three things.
a couple times this weekend, but I was having so much fun getting my chores done.
Oh, and we have John Bernard.
We get water to rinse it off.
We threw buckets with ropes on them into the river.
Okay.
We gotta figure it out tomorrow. And John Bernard. So there's three things that we have.
Oh, the pest house?
The faucet out front's turned on?
Well, we have one to Town Hall, and there's one out in the trough. I don't think the one in the trough has, although I wouldn't be surprised if you did turn it on.
Listen, did you,
I'll show you where the one is downstairs.
Catherine, did you see that on the school street, the state is not doing the dirt driveways?
Yep.
But they're doing a ledge kind of, there's at least a 4 to 5 inch difference to Nellie Grant's, Rhoda Crowell's,
We'll have to call them up.
Randall. They did Randall's today,
We will have to call them up
but
and
they
make
did a ledge
sure
pack.
that they transition those
They did,
properly.
they only did like a ledge pack with Bonnie Randall's.
They didn't give them an apron?
They
I'm halfway.
they gradually did it, and she's happy with it.
Okay.
But they're not
Yeah,
doing
I'd
asphalt.
like to think
They're
so.
not doing asphalt, they're doing
They usually do a concrete apron from the road in.
they're not doing that,
Huh?
they're doing it's a mixture of some sort.
Ledge pack?
That's gonna get washed out.
I think it's like a ledge pack.
It's just
Then they're gonna be-
gravel from a ledge source, so it's gonna be gray because it's full of the stone.
And that's what they're doing, but right now, you cannot get into Nellie Grant's
Are they-
with my
Getting the entire
Explorer.
list.
It's like this.
Are they
That's,
done paving?
It has dates on
They're
it.
done, no, they haven't done their wear coat yet. For
Okay.
School Street and Colby, they're doing the wear coat together.
Okay.
Both at the same time, one company.
were they working on the improvements on Colby today?
I would-
Joyce only sent them an email, here's some pictures, take care of it.
Well,
I
Peter
would-
and I went and explored.
It appears
Me
that
too.
they are aware, if you notice the orange paint, the line with an arrow, and if you walk far enough back, you'll see the other one, so it's between these two marks.
What about the part where it was all spidery?
Same thing.
I didn't see any
They're
orange there.
That
You
was,
and I both saw.
I
Yeah.
would get a hold of them and find out when their meeting is before they go to the wear course. They're gonna have a construction meeting. And then somebody could go around, drive the whole route.
so who's doing the wearing
Oh,
course
yeah, it
on
is,
both
I do
roads?
see the orange. I do see the
And make
orange now.
notes.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, the marks are there.
yeah.
And it's separating in the middle.
And I'm not sure if that's moisture in the sub-base too rich a mix,
Yeah, got all sorts.
too much asphalt also.
Crappy road they're trying to put
Well,
that on
it's-
top of.
This one
Because
here,
of
up on
it's-
up on the top of that little hill as you turn off School
It's
Street,
their road, so whatever they leave it with
is what we're gonna get.
is their road.
Yeah, yeah.
They own it,
I
so
agree.
they'll have to fix it. That's on,
The
that's,
one thing is, over by the trailer park, there's gotta be a spring or something underneath that section of the road, because you can reach right beside the road, and it hasn't
And
rained.
it's like it's like mud balls.
Yeah, that's,
And you could see water
they're
in the
not
ditch.
doing any drainage.
No,
None.
They stopped doing drainage.
And it was
years
wet
ago.
when they put the asphalt down on it.
it's almost like,
Well, here's the thing,
They're-
you
it's
don't want to get
abandoned.
into a road project with them for those roads.
no, not those, I wouldn't take those two roads. Or School Street.
Nope.
Why should we pay for repairing a road that they've abandoned and let to go rack and ruin?
Right.
Well, Caleb Hill certainly,
Caleb Hill right now is unfunded.
yeah, I know,
Right now, but
We'll
that could
see.
change, but you're right. I'd like to make a motion, please, to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I am in favor.
Thank you, Gail, for coming in.
The time being 6:45.
Did you see the
How do I
pictures
shut this
of Norton's
off?
bears?